I'm from Sri Lanka. I am 26 years old and I'm a Buddhist now, and this is my first time sharing something online, especially a story like this. It's about the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me back when I was in high school. I've wanted to write it down for years, but every time I tried, something got in the way. Well, here it goes. This happened when I was in grade 10 or 11. My younger brother and I shared a bed back then. He was in grade 6 or 7. Before I get into it, let me paint the picture. Our room faced the main Colombo Candy Road. The bed was shoved into a corner, headboard against the wall. At the foot of the bed, there was a tiny gap, maybe 2 feet, between us and a wardrobe pressed tight against the wall. On the other side was the door to the room. Right by the door sat an old iron table with one short leg, so if you bumped it, it'd wobble and make a loud dadas sound because it couldn't stay steady. Okay, here's where it starts. That night, my brother and I climbed into bed around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Couldn't sleep. It was hot and sticky and I was restless. My brother, though, seemed to nod off fast. Through the curtain on our door, I could see the living room light still glowing. About 30 minutes after we got in bed, my mom, dad, and sisters turned off the lights and went to sleep too. I shut my eyes, but sleep wouldn't come. The heat, the sweat, it was brutal. I tried so hard to doze off, but no. Hours dragged by, maybe 2 or 3, and I was still awake. By then, the road outside was completely quiet, not a single car passing. Then, out of the blue, I heard it. Footsteps inside the house. Slow, steady steps, like someone in shoes walking on the tiled floor coming from the living room toward our room. No hurry, just calm and getting louder, closer. My heart pounded. The sound stopped right at our door. I kept my eyes squeezed shut, too terrified to look, and pulled the sheet over my head like it'd protect me. For a bit, it was dead silent. Then, all of a sudden, the table in our room went dadas, like something bumped it. Now I knew someone was there. Forget the heat. I was sweating from pure fear, shaking under the sheet. I wanted to peek, but I was petrified. Finally, I couldn't stand it. Acting like I was asleep, I slid the sheet down and cracked my eyes open just a bit. Couldn't believe it. A man was sitting on the table. He looked like he was dressed for a job interview. Long pants, a tucked-in long-sleeve shirt. His hair was kinda long, brushing his shoulders. With my eyes half open, I couldn't make out his face clearly. But there he was. One leg up on a chair, the other on the floor, hand on his hip, staring at our bed. I wanted to yell, but my voice was gone. I tried over and over. Nothing came out. I couldn't even turn to my brother. My body felt like a rock. Panicking, I shut my eyes again and yanked the sheet back over my head. I was trembling now, scared out of my mind. Minutes passed, maybe more, and I didn't hear a sound. My brother shifted in his sleep next to me, but that was it. I had to check again. Still pretending to be out cold, I eased the sheet down and peeked at the table. He was gone. I felt a flicker of relief, but then thought, where'd he go? I lowered the sheet more and glanced at the wardrobe by our feet. There he was, standing right at the edge of the bed, looking down at us. Tall, maybe 6 feet, dressed sharp like before. The wardrobe was 6 feet too, and he matched its height perfectly. Sweat drenched me, but I felt ice cold, stuck in place. My brother kept tossing around, clueless. I couldn't even nudge him. My arm wouldn't move. Desperate, I squeezed my eyes shut again, thinking whatever happens, let it be. After a while, I forced myself to look. I tilted my head down, cracked my eyes, and checked the foot of the bed. He wasn't there.
No sounds anywhere.
I glanced at the table. Empty. My heart lightened a bit. Whoever he was, he's gone, I thought. Feeling safer, I fixed my pillow and looked up. That's when I saw something I'll never forget. Ever. Typing this now, my hands are shaking. My ears feel frozen. I told you our bed was right against the wall, with maybe an inch of space behind it. Nobody could fit there, but when I looked up, there he was, the same long-haired guy, perched on the headboard, leaning over me, his face so close to mine there couldn't have been more than a foot between us. That's all I remember. I think I blacked out. Next thing I knew, it was morning. My brother wasn't beside me, still in bed. I tried to figure it out. What happened last night? Dream or real? I was dead sure it was real, but I tried telling myself it was a nightmare to calm down. My head throbbed and I felt feverish, groggy. I stumbled out of bed and into the living room. It was empty, but I heard my mom and brother chatting in the kitchen. I went to tell my mom what I'd seen, still half convincing myself it was fake. But what I heard in there turned my shaky fever into full-blown chills. My brother was telling my mom, "Amma, last night some guy came into our room. He was by the table first. Then he went over to Aya's. Aya means elder brother in my language side and leaned right over his face. I shut my eyes. I was terrified. When I looked again, he was by the wardrobe. I turned away, too scared to scream, though I tried. Later, I peeked, and he was on the bed, leaning over Aya's face, staring at him. I clamped my eyes shut and must have passed out. For a whole month after, we played Buddhist Pirith chants. It's like Christian prayers. In our room nonstop. Nothing weird happened again. But get this, before that night, my older sister had told us something too. She said one afternoon while napping, someone grabbed her hair and pulled her off the bed, telling her to get down. We laughed, thinking she was joking. After this, though, we weren't so sure. Some might believe this is true. Others might say it's nonsense. Up to you. But I've still got questions that haunt me. How did he lean over me like that without falling? How could anyone fit in that tiny space behind the bed? What was that? For a long time after, I was terrified to sleep. Every time I climbed into bed, I'd lie there, heart racing, scared I'd see that man again, staring down at me in the dark.
For months, I've had what I thought was sleep paralysis. I'd wake up, totally conscious, but I couldn't move a muscle. It would last for a few minutes, and I'd just lie there, staring at the ceiling, trying to breathe through the panic until my body finally started working again. It happened maybe once or twice a month, always the same way. I never saw anything weird, no shadow people or hallucinations, just the total inability to move. My doctor said it was normal, just stress, bad sleep schedule, nothing to worry about. So I just dealt with it. A few weeks ago, I woke up again in the middle of one of these episodes. I couldn't turn my head, but I could see movement in my peripheral vision. Someone was standing next to my bed. Is this the sleep paralysis demon everyone talks about? I could feel the mattress shift as he leaned down. I wanted to scream, but my throat wouldn't work. Then he did something that I knew wasn't a demon hallucination. He reached out and brushed my hair back, slow and gentle. I must have blacked out because when I woke up, I could move again, and I was alone. The room was exactly how I'd left it. Nothing missing, no signs of forced entry. I kept telling myself it was a really messed up dream, but I couldn't shake it. So I set up my phone to record while I slept, just to prove to myself that nothing was happening. The next morning, I had 3 hours of footage of me sleeping. Normal. Then right around 3:15 a.m., the screen lit up with movement. The door to my room opened. A man stepped inside. He walked up to my bed, stood over me for a long time, then pulled something from his pocket. He leaned down, did something near my face, then just stood there, watching me. I stopped the video. I was shaking so bad I almost dropped my phone. My brain was trying to find some kind of explanation that didn't mean what I knew it meant. I called the cops. They found a small puncture wound behind my ear. A toxicology report found traces of a paralytic agent in my system. The lock on my apartment door wasn't broken. There were no signs of forced entry. The police think he had a key. How long had he been doing this? Every time I thought I was waking up with sleep paralysis, it was actually him. He was in my room, watching me, touching me. They haven't caught him yet.
You have neighbors. You always have. They live in the house beside yours, or across the street, or just a few doors down. You see them often, watering their lawns, retrieving the mail, waving as they pass by on their evening walks. They are friendly, polite. They always seem to know your name, even if you cannot quite recall being introduced. Their routines are predictable, comforting even. The man with the blue car leaves for work at 7:15 every morning. The woman in the yellow house brings in her groceries every Thursday afternoon. The elderly couple on the corner sits on their porch at dusk, watching the street in silence. But sometimes things are not quite right. The man with the blue car backs out of his driveway at 7:15, as always. But the car is wrong. The color is duller. The license plate has changed. His smile is the same, his wave just as familiar. But the moment he is gone, you cannot remember what his face looked like. The woman in the yellow house carries her groceries inside, but you do not see her return for the next bag. You count the bags, too many for one trip, too many for her to have carried at once. Yet the car is empty, the trunk is closed, and the front door is shut. The elderly couple on the corner watches the street, unmoving. You have never seen them blink. You try to dismiss these things. You tell yourself you are imagining it, that memory is a fragile thing, prone to error. But one night, you wake to a sound outside, something soft, shuffling, just beyond your window. You glance at the clock. It is 3:11 a.m., and when you look outside, they're all standing there, your neighbors, every single one, lined up along the sidewalk, facing your house. They are not speaking. They are not moving. They are waiting. For what? You do not know. But in the morning, they will smile. They will wave. They will greet you by name. And you will wonder how long they have really been there.